get in some sneaky big news where we've got some really good stuff out of Philly, which wasn't always the case the last few weeks as far as headlines go. But the Eagles get back Lane Johnson for a 14th season. He's announced that, and he has confirmed to ESPN that he's coming back. 35-year-old missed the final 7 regular season games as well as the playoff loss to San Francisco with the Lisfranc injury. Johnson's a 2-time All-Pro, a 6-time Pro Bowler, and his impact cannot be overstated if you look at the wins and losses. In his career, the Eagles are nearly 60 games over 500 when he is on the field playing. And in the 46 games he has missed, Philly has an under 500 record. So Damien Woody, our offensive lineman at the table, how important and how significant is this news?
No, it's important. I mean, listen, he's one of the best players on the roster, obviously, very accomplished guy. And we saw it with the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. They took a step back last year. They had such a hard time capturing, the line of scrimmage, and that was even with Lane Johnson, in the lineup. And you combine that with Jeff Stoutland, their superb offensive line coach now departing the organization. The more guys like Lane Johnson you have, I think it's going to be better. Just for the stability, not only of that position group, but the locker room.
Let's stay with Philly because that was big news yesterday, but there was also some big headlines because A.J. Brown sat down with a couple legendary Patriots, Julian Edelman and Gronk, on their Dudes on Dudes podcast. And listen to this when they made their recruiting pitch.
Just remember, we're all Patriots. You know that, right?
Are you going to be a Patriot? Are you going to be a Patriot? Do you want to be a Patriot?
I'm trolling.
Let me give some context here out of the top here. Julian Edelman played for the Patriots. A.J. Brown's favorite player growing up was actually Julian Edelman. They have a very strong relationship, and A.J. Brown was a Patriots fan because of Julian Edelman. That said, you get that wink. That's not nothing. A.J. Brown to the Patriots. Put it out there. Mike T, our GM. What do you think?
It's kind of interesting. And if I'm Howie Roseman, the Eagles GM, when I get to Indy next week, I'm saying to the Patriots, hey, I need your best offer. Mike Vrabel, you had him in Tennessee. And by the way, if he's not a Patriot, you're probably going to have to defend him twice a year. Run into Brandon B., GM of the Buffalo Bills. Hey, you guys need an outside receiver? We consider trading A.J. Brown. We need your best offer. And oh, by the way, Brandon, if we don't get something done.
Is that really how it works? You'd play it off each other? You call both GMs? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to hold an auction. And look,
oh, yeah, don't worry about that. Just keep talking over that.
Yeah, so anyway, no, my point is this. If you're running the Eagles, and like 4 great years with A.J. Brown, it's run its course. If you can get the 26th pick with Buffalo or New England's first-round pick, and you can sort of like reset this on the fly, you are absolutely playing the Buffalo Bills off against the New England Patriots.
Yeah. You have to solidify Jalen Hurts as the true leader. And sometimes, like we saw with Diggs in Minnesota, we saw him in Buffalo, that noise becomes too loud. So you have to reset. And if you're Howie Roseman, what a great opportunity to be able to get maybe 2 first-round draft picks. If Sauce went for 1 first-round draft pick, what does A.J. Brown bring, especially when he can be the finishing piece for a championship? And Howie Roseman always finds a way to come out on top. Because when you think about, drafting Devonta Smith, he's a number 1. So it may be time for him to graduate and be a true number 1, but you can go out and get a guy like Mike Evans, have 2 first-round draft picks, and be able to get a hired gun like Mike Evans, a professional that can give you productivity, and still, 1, get better with your salary cap, but 2, be able to get some picks for your war chest.
I want to go to Damien Woody on this because in the era of podcasts, with all the smoke that's around, and that is a podcast, with all the smoke that is around A.J. Brown during the season, for him to do that wink, like if you're a teammate, if you're an Eagle, if you're Jalen Hurts, are you looking at that and saying, really, dude? Or are you like, whatever, it's just off season?
No, listen, we're in a different era now where all these guys are, on each other's podcasts. It's not these guys aren't enemies. They're all friends and all that type of stuff. So I think guys aren't sensitive. They're not going to look at him and be like, oh, he betrayed me or anything like that. We already know that there's been smoke in Philadelphia for the past couple of years. And, Mike T talked about the 2 teams that make the most sense are the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. So we know about the relationship between A.J. Brown and Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is the one who brought him into the league. So put 2 and 2 together, it makes a lot of sense.
And even though this year's draft is loaded with receivers, guys, I think both Buffalo and New England, maybe for a little different reasons, are win now right now. Drake made rookie deal, and obviously that whole Bills organization feels like, hey, we got to win now. We got Josh Allen in his prime.
Don't leave the Chargers or the Ravens out of that conversation.
Oh, there's going to be a long list. If he's actually up for sale, Howie Roseman will be making those calls, and there will be plenty of teams who will be interested. Coming up, do you want even more? Let's play a game of in it to win it in the NFL. We're looking at the AFC East. The top 2 win totals are the Bills, the 10.5. Then the Patriots, despite going to the Super Bowl, are beneath them at 9.5 wins. Bart, are you buying the Bills being atop the AFC over the Patriots in the AFC East?
I am. They have the best player in the division and arguably one of the best players in all of football. And I think they're going to push all their coins into the middle of the table and go all in. I know they've done it before. They have to go out and get, Josh Allen, a number 1 proven receiver. They tried to do it by committee, going to get all these former great players, whether it was Samuel, whether it was Brandon Cooks. They guys got to go out, especially after the comments made about Coleman. They got to go out and push everything back in because now it's on Josh Allen, right? You got rid of Sean McDermott saying he was the issue. That wasn't the issue. They have to find a way to try and take advantage of his prime because the rest of the teams in the division, in the conference, are starting to catch up.
Put your Brandon Beane hat on here, a team that just keeps on getting short of where they want to go. What do you do this offseason? A huge move moving on from McDermott. What do the Bills do from a GM perspective?
Yeah, number 1, I totally agree with Bart. I mean, when the owner comes out and calls out Keon Coleman, they're going to get a receiver, like somehow, some way. Even though, again, this draft is loaded, they have to go get a veteran frontline guy. So A.J. Brown, to me, is the obvious one. There are other opportunities. And then on the other side of the ball, they need another pass rusher. Now, look, they, I think, drafted well last year, loaded up on the defensive side of the ball, but they really need help on the pass rush. Pass to score, run to win, fourth quarter pass rushers. That's what they need to close the deal in Buffalo.
We were just talking about this Patriots dream season, and they go to the Super Bowl, and already we're saying they're the second place team. Damien, Woody, what do they have to do to avoid that and to stay atop the division?
Well, I mean, much like we talked about earlier with the Chicago Bears. You can't rely on, okay, we got there this year. Like a lot of those teams, they fall back to the mean because they were a year early. And so for the New England Patriots, they got issues. Offensive line, they need to address. They need to address the receiver position. We talked about that a little while ago. But here's the thing I would say about New England. Obviously, Mike Vrabel did a fantastic job. They played a ton of rookies. Okay,
13 rookies were on that Super Bowl team.
I mean, meaningful snaps. So think about the jump those guys are going to be making from year 1 to year 2.
The other big thing, though, is their pass rush. Clavon Chasen's a free agent. They had on him. Harold Landry, maybe his best years are behind him. So offensively, they have those holes, but they got to get another pass rush.
Let's stay in the AFC. Let's go to the AFC North. The top 3 teams. We see the Ravens are at the top, despite missing the playoffs this year with 10.5 projected wins. Mike T, how do you feel about us giving the benefit of the doubt to a new coaching staff, saying the Ravens will be the top team in the AFC North?
Absolutely. I'm going higher. Lamar Jackson only played in 13 games, guys, and he was really never healthy. I think he's going to have a huge bounce-back season. Then on the other side of the ball, they do, it wasn't the same Raven defense. They need a much better pass rush. They were at the bottom in a lot of pass rush statistics. So a healthy Lamar, maybe another receiver, but fix the front 7, and they'll win more.
Jesse Minter and Anthony Weaver are now running that defense, 2 guys who have history with Baltimore. D-Wood, I look at that second team there. The Bengals, 9.5 wins. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's a little too rich for my taste, to be honest with you. I know if Joe Burrow is healthy, Joe Burrow is as good as any quarterback that we have in the game. I was the defensive side. Like, until I see big-time improvement from some of these younger guys that they've drafted, make the big-time jump, I'm just hesitant to say that the Bengals are just going to be a team that's going to be double-digit type win. They need to make real improvement on the defensive side.
All right, Bart, we go to the Steelers. The Steelers have had 22 straight non-losing seasons. Yeah. 8.5 is their number. If they get 9, it's a non-losing season. If they get 8, it is their first in 23 years. What do you make of the Steelers' number?
I think the Steelers kind of recognize that it's not any. The Steelers are never. You heard the owner. They're never going to be just tank to try and get quarterbacks for 2027. So they're going to try and remain competitive. Now, is that with Aaron Rodgers? Maybe is that with Kirk Cousins or somebody like that, or do they make the big investment in Malik Willis and hope that they can turn his career around? But I think we give Mike McCarthy I don't know what the narrative is with Mike McCarthy.
It's a negative stigma for some reason, right?
And he has the same resume. If we put the blind resumes up of Mike McCarthy against Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Sean Payton. It's going to be the same exact thing, but I think, like, you know, I'd call it big man bias.
Okay.
Right? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't speak as eloquently and as cool as Mike Tomlin. He isn't as stoic as Harbaugh, but he's just as good. And I think he's going to do another tremendous job when he gets there with the Patriots, his dream job.
Steelers.
And I'm sorry, the Steelers. And I think they're going to do a tremendous job in kind of keeping the ball rolling.
Yeah, but Bart, like, to me, the biggest challenge is the quarterback position. They drafted Will Howard in the 6th round. Maybe they have something there. Aaron Rodgers, guys, is going to be 43. Obviously, all-time great, first ballot.
Maybe he retires.
Right. So now, all of a sudden, where are you going to go? Like, to me, this team is closer to a rebuild. Like, I would actually consider moving on from the T.J. Watts of the world, trying to get a young quarterback, and then building with a first-year head coach in Mike McCarthy.
I think that, to me, it's the defensive side of the ball that worries me a lot.
Yeah.
They're old.
They're old. They spent the most money of any team in the National Football League addressing that side of the ball, and they didn't get nowhere near the return that they were looking for.
And I think Houston just scored another touchdown in that playoff.
Yes.
Well, they're going to have opportunity. Patrick Queen, you can get out of that contract finally this year. I think he was, you know, he didn't play very well at all. The T.J. Watt of it all, I think you have to kind of rebuild on the fly. But it's no such thing as, you know, tanking with Pittsburgh.
No.